All right, I got some new information that just came out. So a lot of people have been going live about this. This is new information from 30 minutes ago. Watch this.
The jurors have more questions in Diddy's trial, and it is getting worse and worse. So now they are asking for the transcripts from Cassie and for Daniel Phillips. Now, this is very big, so let me break this down. So they specifically are asking about the Canes incident when it comes to Cassie. Now, this is when she was allegedly forced to do the freak off after Diddy threatened to release the videotapes of her. Daniel Phillips is the Gretz worker who heard Diddy slap Cassie in the other room when they were about to do a freak off, and then she had to come out there after being attacked and do the freak off anyway. They also asked about the Intercontinental Hotel incident. So it looks like they are working on the Gretz trafficking charges with Cassie, as well as the bribery charge from the Intercontinental Hotel. And for the Daniel Phillips guy to say that he heard Diddy slap Cassie and then she came out and did that freak off after she did not want to do it could be very damaging.
Diddy trial day 34. So the defense and prosecution are going back and forth over which experts they want to leave in, and I just posted the transcript. So the defense is like, we should absolutely be able to put in Cassie's response to the video and ask, saying that she thought that this issue was about domestic violence. So obviously the prosecution doesn't want that because the DV isn't a factor in this case. However, the judge has ruled that he sees no harm in including that statement from Cassie that this is a DV case based off of the video that was released in March of 2024.
Everybody, drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. This is Diddy Verdict Watch 2025. Everybody, drop your city in the chat and hit the thumbs up button to let YouTube know that I am on live. Let's go. This is some really interesting evidence right here that is coming out from what the jurors are saying.
She doesn't want that.
And somebody said this is too low. I'm gonna back it up a little bit. So turn your volume up a little bit because I know she's a little low. Everybody hit the like button and drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at.
The transcript. So the defense is like, we should absolutely be able to put in Cassie's response to the video and ask, saying that she thought that this issue was about domestic violence. So obviously the prosecution doesn't want that because the DV isn't a factor in this case. However, the judge has ruled that he sees no harm in including that statement from Cassie that this is a DV case based off of the video that was released in March of 2024. Now, while all this is happening, the jury is still deliberating. The judge instructed them to hand over those experts by 1 p.m. today. It is 12:40 right now, so we'll see where this goes. Now, if you guys remember, Daniel Phillips was the escort that was one of the first ones to testify, and he testified that he received from, I think it was $400 to $6,000 to have relations with Cassie. He is the one that testified about the peeing, and he is the one that testified about hearing the DV acts against Cassie from the other room.
So we are looking at 5 to 8 counts. Some people are saying 5, some people are saying 8. So I'm just going to say 5 to 8 counts. There, because I think there's multiple counts of certain things. But we're going to get into that. Kidnapping, arson, bribery, forced labor, trafficking, witness tampering, and 2 counts of distribution. So that will make 8. All right. Some people may say 5. So this is what we're actually looking at. And what this woman, the first woman said right here, this right here is literally proving forced labor, because if they're about to do say you as a viewer, say you are actually paid to blank this person's mate, right? Whether you're a woman or man, you're laying in the bed, right? And for whatever reason, the person, whether male or female, doesn't really want to do it. And then the mate of that person pulls that person into another room and they start arguing. And all of a sudden you hear, and then that person walks out and now is okay with blanking you, that is literally forced labor. So listen to this. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Drop your city in the chat. Let me know where you at. To the new people who just came in.
The jurors have more questions in Diddy's trial, and it is getting worse and worse.
This is
so now
crazy.
they are asking for the transcripts from Cassie and for Daniel Phillips. Now this is
so the transcripts are damning because now, see, a lot of the things that the jurors are dealing with is their memory because they can't take notes and they can just hear this stuff. And a lot of it, they probably have forgotten, or one juror may think somebody said this and another juror said, no, they didn't say that. So when you see transcripts of something as damning as this is literal proof of what somebody did and what somebody said instead of trying to look at what they remember. This is crazy.
Very big, so let me break this down. So they specifically are asking about the Canes incident when it comes to Cassie. Now, this is when she was allegedly forced to do the freak off after Diddy threatened to release the videotapes of her. Daniel Phillips is the Gretz worker who heard Diddy slap Cassie in the other room when they were about to do a freak off, and then she had to come out there after being attacked and do the freak off anyway. They also asked about the Intercontinental Hotel incident. So it looks like they are working on the Gretz trafficking charges with Cassie, as well as the bribery charge from the Intercontinental Hotel. And for the Daniel Phillips guy to say that he heard Diddy slap Cassie and then she came out and did that freak off after she did not want to do it could be very damaging.
That right there is over. So I talked about what charges are going to stick and what charges are not going to stick. When they're asking questions about certain charges, they're getting clarity on whether they should go forward with a not guilty plea or go forward with a guilty plea. So they may look at kidnapping and say, did he kidnap her, right? They might look at arson and say, the car didn't even blow up. It was just like dirty and like it didn't even get set on fire. Was it really arson if the car didn't just go up in flames, which it didn't? Bribery. Did he really bribe the person? There's a lot of different holes in it, right? Forced labor. This right here proves that it was forced labor. From the context, from the timing, that's forced labor. So from my just way of looking at this whole thing, if I was a juror, kidnapping, no. Arson, no. But bribery, like I said yesterday, bribery would be a yes because there's proof that he bribed the person because he got the tape, right? Forced labor, the answer is yes, because right here, that's context and timing, and they're going to have the transcript. So they have everything that they need to show that it was forced labor. So those are most likely two charges. The next is S trafficking. Maybe not. Some people, I don't think all 12 jurors are going to say yes on S trafficking. I don't see that happening. The next, witness tampering. Is witness tampering the same as bribery? And this is what's crazy. And this is how they're going to get Diddy. If they say bribery, but witness tampering is, yeah, because it's like, if you're open to pay somebody all this money to get rid of something, I don't know. So the witness tampering mixed with the bribery, I would say no to witness tampering because they're saying yes to the bribery, because what have they shown involving the witness tampering thus far? Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I don't see anything about witness tampering that would cause 12 jurors to agree that he's guilty. The next is the drug part. that's going to be a yes also, because they also asked a question, we're going to get into that, about the what does drug distribution look like. So here we go right here. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button.
And here's what's happening in the Diddy trial today. So far, jurors are back to deliberating after having sent the judge 2 notes yesterday. So I told you guys yesterday, one note was regarding a juror that could not follow the judge's instructions. He sent a note back saying it's your obligation to follow his instructions on the law. Towards the end of the day yesterday, they sent another note to the judge.
Thank you, Rudy. What's going on, Rudy? Who all I got in here? Let me shout y'all out real quick. What's up, J Mac? What's up, Eartha? What's up, Sean? What's up, Notorious Teddy? Drop some popcorn emojis in the chat so I can shout y'all out. What's going on, Chaos Rain? You think he do time in jail? Well, he's doing time in jail now. They just asked like 5 more questions. All right, so let me get on that. So they just asked 5 more questions. Let me look into that.
Asking a question about distribution of controlled substances, and the judge said he would answer that this morning. In the judge's response, he refers them to page 37, lines 1 through 3 of jury charge. The word distribution means actual, constructive, or attempted transfer. To distribute simply means to deliver, to pass over, or to hand over something to another person, or to cause it to be delivered, passed on, handed over to another. Distribution does not require sale. And they specifically asked, if someone asks for an illegal substance and someone hands it over to them, is that considered distribution? And as I just read, I would say yes.
Yes.
And this is one of the acts that falls under the RICO charge. Y'all know I'm watching this case like a hawk.
They asked, if a person asks for an illegal substance and then a person hands it over to them, is that counted as distribution? Now, the judge said that he's going to give them the answer to this question tomorrow, and he told Diddy's lawyers and the prosecution to come up with the proper wording for the answer to this question. The government thinks that the answer should say yes and then point them back to the jury.
Her video is from yesterday, but so I'm pointing that out. But I do want y'all to listen to what was said yesterday because it pertains to today.
Instructions. Diddy's lawyer, Mark Agnifilio, said that he would like a little more time to discuss it with his team. And then the judge said that they needed to agree on the language that he needs to give the jurors about this question by 6 p.m. tonight. Oh, this is one of the questions that I say watch out for because it can kind of tell you what the jury is thinking. If the judge decides to go with what the government says and it's just flat out yes, that is distribution, that could honestly be bad for Diddy. As you know, under the RICO charge, you only have to prove 2 predicate acts happened in a 10-year time period.
The note referenced page 37 out of 60 of the jury instructions packet, meaning they could be making significant progress because drug distribution was the...
Do you think he's going to walk? Absolutely not. Not with the breakdown. At first I did, but now that everything is getting broken down, no, he's not walking. He's about to do life in prison. There's no way in this world he's going to walk because, yeah.
Final predicate act outlined by the prosecution. But it's the first predicate act that the assistant U.S. attorney brought up during her closing argument. I'm looking at my notes right now, and the way she started was by saying that drugs were an essential ingredient to every freak-off. Then said verbatim, giving drugs to someone else is distribution, period. Adding that anytime Diddy had his assistants or security get him drugs, this is distribution, plain and simple. But what also really stands out to me is that they asked if someone wants drugs and someone else gives it to them, is that distribution? And remember, throughout this trial, the defense has been saying that Cassie was a drug addict, that she did drugs with or without Diddy. So given that drugs, the prosecution is saying, was an essential ingredient to every freak-off, I'm wondering if they're questioning, well, if Cassie wanted the drugs, is it still distribution? Talking to my colleagues about this.
This is the Fiji company is a distributor of Fiji water. So if I ask for Fiji water, you just distributed the Fiji water to me. And if Fiji water was illegal, you can go to prison for Fiji water distribution. It's really simple. Distribution is handing something out. So I would say if me and my friend are sharing, I don't know, something, whatever, I don't think that's distribution, that's sharing. But if I'm handing it out to more than one person, I would say that is just distribution. That's distribution when you hand it out to more than one person.
And everyone is split. Some are saying that the question indicates that they are leaning towards convicting him on RICO, and some say they are finding murky gray areas when it comes to how simple that the assistant U.S. attorney explained drug distribution. I also wonder what it means that they all agreed to go home at 5. I mean, it could simply mean that they wanted to wrap it up. But also on the other side of these deliberations is a 4-day weekend. And it seems unlikely that they would want to come back next week to pick up where they left off. My best guess is that we will have a verdict on Wednesday. Now, until then, we will all be in the courtroom just sitting and waiting. So I brought this book tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow.
All right. So let me answer some of your questions. And if you want to ask questions about the case, and this is my opinion, I'm not a lawyer, but if you want to ask questions about the case, just drop it in the chat. Drop it in the super chat, or either just drop it in the chat. You don't have to, but if you really want me to answer the question, drop your question in the super chat. I'll read a couple of them, but if too many of them come in, you got to put it in super chat so I can see it. Because put it in super chat puts color behind the words, and I'll be able to see it. All right. Somebody outside the court said that Diddy's attorney was talking to his mom. She looked concerned. Then other family members started coming in. How long do you think he's going to be sentenced? I think he's going to do life in prison. He's about to do an elbow. That's what an elbow means. Life in prison. Then why they not filing charges on Gene Deal? He is complicit. He's seen most of it and didn't say anything for 2 decades. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, when you want to call Gene Deal in as a witness, the answer would be no. The reason why is because you don't want to have 80 witnesses come on stand, because all I ain't gonna say that, but all Gene Deal really has to do is tell his story. And because here's what I think. I think Cassie was lying. I think that Jane Doe was lying. And I think Gene Deal, who has not gotten paid by Diddy, Cassie has gotten paid by Diddy with the lawsuit, and Jane Doe got paid by Diddy, is getting paid by Diddy $10,000 a month to this day, even from prison. So if they would have got Gene Deal up there, Gene Deal most likely would have told the absolute truth because he doesn't like Diddy. And the two people that was lying, which is Cassie and Jane Doe, it would have caused problems for the prosecution, because now they like, all right, she said this, but Gene Deal came up there and said this, because Gene Deal ain't got no reason to lie. The two women have a reason to lie. So it doesn't make sense to bring Gene Deal up there, because he's not going to lie. And most likely what he has to say is going to be totally opposite to what Cassie and Jane Doe said, because they're lying. How are you going to send somebody to prison for giving away a few pills? Because giving away a few pills is illegal. What are you talking about? Let's see. Then why? Okay, I did that. Ask your questions in the chat and I'll answering. How long of a sentence do you think he will receive? I said life in prison. Thank you. Life in prison is a stretch. Silence is golden. The music elite will take that into consideration. I think he will spend time, but not life. The distribution of that and the bribery. Let's see. Hold on. Let's look into bribery real quick. Because bribery of an officer is life in prison. So bribery, period, is not, of course. How many years can you get for bribery? Let's look into this. Maximum 15 years imprisonment. That's maximum. All right. How much time can you get in prison for drug distribution? Give it a second. All right. Drug type and quantity has everything to do with what the actual offense will be. Okay. Examples of federal, because this is what we're talking about, right? Example of federal mandatory minimum sentences based on drug quantity. 100 grams of mixture heroin, 5 years minimum. And I'm just giving y'all examples. 1 kilogram of mixture of heroin is 10 years in prison. 500 grams of cocaine, 5-year minimum. 5 kilograms of cocaine, 10-year minimum. 5 grams of meth, that would be 5 years. So, of course, we're not talking about cocaine or because we're talking about pills right now. So, those are just examples of how different it has to be. So, I think, let's see. Do y'all remember how much that white boy was caught when he got arrested? I don't think it was that much. All right. So Diddy will get off just like every other Democrat. Everybody hit a like button. Everybody hit a thumbs up button. Everybody hit a thumbs up button to let YouTube know that I am in here. More people are slowly coming in. So the more time, the more people who hit the like button, you'll let YouTube know that I'm live because YouTube doesn't put out your notifications. So, I have like 350,000 subscribers and I never get the notification sent out. So hit the like button, y'all. What did Cassie lie about? She lied about everything. If you've seen what Cassie was up there saying, she literally was shining a positive light on Diddy. She overall really said that she left not because she was captured or she was imprisoned. She left because she was jealous of how he felt about Kim Porter. That in particular wasn't a lie, but it did not help the case. She lied about a whole bunch of other stuff though. I love Mr. Let Go. Sticks to the facts. Very informative. Thank you so much, Brene. I appreciate you. Clive Davis is going to pay Trump a lot of money to pardon him. That's a possibility. That is a possibility. If they convict them, then flying people out is over. I'm still flying women out. They just gonna have to arrest me. So I'm sorry. I'm flying women out. They just gonna have to arrest me. So I'm flying your ass in. So I ain't got time for all that. All right. No, do I got other questions? Okay, so here we go. They got 0.7 grams of drugs. So let's see. How much prison time can a person get if they have 0.7 grams of cocaine? Let's just say that. It's loading. The prison time a person can receive for possession of 0.7 grams of cocaine depends on several factors, including jurisdiction, state or federal. Let's see. How much prison time can I get for 0 grams of cocaine if it's... How much prison time can I get for 0.7 grams of cocaine if it's a federal offense? What's up, Moeezy? Under federal law, possession of 0.7 grams of cocaine could result in a misdemeanor charge. This carries a potential... Okay, so now we're talking about a misdemeanor charge and a bribery charge. He may not... What's going on? Yours truly, Toya. What's going on? How are you? If Gene D don't like Diddy, why did he work for him? None of us like the people we work for. What are you talking about? None of us like the people we work for. We work for the people or the company because we need the money. What are you talking about? All right, so let's keep going.
The judge brought the lawyers to the bench and tells both teams, meet and confer on the language and let me know by 6 p.m. if you can agree. We'll have an answer ready for the jury in the morning. Deliberations pause. Alternates remain on call. Today's agenda, finalize the substance law clarification and see whether juror 25 stays on the panel. The verdict clock keeps ticking. Will a single juror de case or does the panel push through? Drop your prediction and let me know. Do you think we're going to get an answer today?
The big question the jury is weighing right now is coercion or consent. Did Sean Diddy Combs force his former girlfriends to have sex with male prostitutes while he sometimes watched, filmed or participated in these drug-fueled sex sessions known as freak-offs? Or did the women consent to it? Over the course of the 7-week trial, the jury heard from 34 different witnesses. The star witness was Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former girlfriend. The prosecution painted a picture of a man who used power, violence and fear to get what he wanted, especially sexually. His defence claim that it was all consensual and that he shouldn't be judged based on his sexual preferences.
Yours truly, Toya said, not you Googling the question. Yeah, I don't know nothing about this stuff. I'm not a lawyer. I am not a lawyer. So I'm going to Google stuff. Like, what are you talking about? I am not a lawyer. I'm not going to just spit out something and I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about.
Diddy is facing 5 charges, including racketeering, conspiracy and sex trafficking. If found guilty, he could face up to life in prison. The 55-year-old has pleaded not.
Why in the world did they play that? I didn't even see that. I might have to cut that out. God damn it. Why did they play that part? Why?
Could not follow the judge's instructions. The judge sent a note back encouraging the jury to continue deliberating, to continue to try and deliver a verdict. Sean Diddy Combs is in a holding cell until the jury decide his fate.
You've got 8 men and 4 women that are entering day 2 of deliberations, and they have a big job. They have to look at over 30 witnesses that have testified throughout this trial and recall all of that evidence for a trial that has spanned nearly 2 months long. As you know, 55-year-old Sean Combs faces numerous charges, including racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. He has pleaded not guilty. Now, within an hour of the start of the jury deliberations, as you mentioned, the foreperson presented a note to the court regarding concerns about one juror's ability to follow instructions. In response to that note, the judge sent them back to work and did not call any alternate. A second note was sent late in the day with the jury looking for clarification about what makes a person a drug distributor. The judge plans to address that later this morning. Now, inside the courtroom yesterday, Combs was at times yawning as the judge spoke to the jury. He also requested 2 books that he wanted to read while he waits: The Power of Positive Thinking and The Happiness Advantage. Prosecutors have argued that Combs was the leader of a criminal enterprise that forced women into engaging in illegal sex acts with male escorts. They also claim he supplied the women with drugs and threatened them with violence and blackmail to keep them silent. But the defense said this case is really about personal drug use, they say, and Combs's private sex life, adding all sexual encounters were consensual, and Combs faces up to life in prison if convicted on the racketeering conspiracy.
He is facing 5 separate charges, and whether or not he's innocent or guilty on one has no bearing on the others. 1 count of racketeering, 2 counts of S-trafficking, 1 count of S-trafficking Cassie, 1 count of S-trafficking Jane, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, 1 with Cassie and 1 with Jane. For ST, it doesn't need to be the entirety of the freak-offs. 1 instance of it is enough. However, all the jurors would have to unanimously agree that that story represents ST. The question of why didn't Cassie leave is not relevant here. Trafficking is about getting to yes using force or the threat of force or coercion. It doesn't require actual physical force. And the judge made it clear today, consent can be revoked in the middle of an act. So when she says in the middle, I don't want to do this, that at that point, it becomes trafficking if he coerces her to continue. One instance of sex that's coerced is enough. But again, the entire jury has to agree that that one story constitutes. Now, as the prosecutor kept saying, do you really think that she wanted to have an escort into her mouth? I don't think so.
All right, let's do this. I'm gonna share my screen. Let's see what's going on over here. Do this.
He's got more than 6 months in right now. He's been in custody for more than 6 months. So essentially, could the court take that into consideration and give him a sentence that is consistent with the time he's got in? Of course, but the judge could also give him up to 10 years.
Barrett, as a former federal prosecutor, would you have an opinion on what his sentence would be if he's convicted of transportation to engage in prostitution? Let's say 2 counts. I've always said that I feel that that's the strongest charge, the most straightforward path to conviction. What could he get?
Yeah, so those would have a maximum sentence of 10 years if the only counts that he was convicted on were the 2 Mann Act charges. Could they be stacked? Yes. Do I think that's likely? No. So I think if he's convicted of the Mann Act, he will get something less than 10 years. Without having done the calculations about his guideline range, as we were just talking about, it's hard to make a true prediction, but I'll put it this way. The judge can also consider all of the other evidence that he's heard during this trial. So even if he gets acquitted of the RICO count, even if he gets convicted of both of the sex trafficking counts, the judge can consider everything that came in that was relevant to those counts when he's sentencing him on those 2 Mann Acts. So he, certainly would give him, in my imagination, a more significant sentence based on all that information than he would have otherwise.
Yeah, it kind of answers the question we had from Keenan Jackson. Besides from walking away free, what's the least amount of time Sean can receive for the lesser charges? Does his time served count for his sentencing if he doesn't get life? Okay, so we kind of answered that question. Let me, Safa, I said I would have another question for you. This is from Anto Grego. Hello, you beautiful people. Question: if he's found guilty, can he ask for bail while waiting to appeal?
He can ask, but I'm sure he's going to be denied. What's going to ultimately happen is if he's found guilty, he of course will remain in custody, and then there will be a sentencing date that is scheduled for him to be sentenced. After he is sentenced, then he can file the notice of appeal, and it may take however long. Sometimes people sit and wait for an appeal for 1 to 2 years in custody before their appeal is even heard.
Kind of like Tory Lanez right now.
So I highly doubt that if he's convicted, he's going to be getting out. He's not going to be getting out while he's pending an appeal. He will remain in custody for that point, to that point in time.
The Diddy docket on Twitter says, did Gina, which is one of Diddy's chicks, did Gina Hyman, whatever her last name is, fabricate her story on Tasha K, or is she suffering from Stockholm syndrome, or does she think Diddy is able to be rehabilitated? That is an interesting question, but let me know if I'm wrong. I didn't see Gina testify. Did Gina testify, y'all? I don't think she did. Let me know. Did Gina testify? The Chinese looking girl that kind of looked like Cassie.
We got an update from court. Tenny Garrigo, Sean Combs' defense attorney, says, we think we should start with the first government exhibit about the Intercontinental Freak-Off. Prosecutor Johnson says, if we could get the laptop back, we could load a searchable PDF. The judge says, I agree. Some earlier and later messages should be given. What's left? Prosecutor says, we'd like to include the photos she took of her injuries and the message from March 5th. Judge says, Ms. Garrigos, don't those fall into the same category? What would be the objection? Garrigo says, I have to maintain my objection to the photo. So a question about what material the jury will be handed over. Okay, Tyler, got a couple of questions for you. Gabe Bernard asks, if I became a juror, can I refuse to watch explicit videos?
No.
You have to review all the evidence. I mean, could you refuse to watch it? Maybe not watch the entire thing. I'm pretty sure they've redacted some parts out of the video in consideration of people not wanting to watch the sensitive material and also the privacy of those victims who are involved in the materials. But your obligation as a juror is to review all evidence and then make a decision. And in this case, they are explicit materials. Does that mean you have to watch it over and over again? No, you don't. But you do have to review the evidence at least.
Let me throw another question to you. Again, from Brooklyn Truth, when a defendant has so many lawyers, like Sean Combs does that make it difficult for the team to cooperate effectively?
I don't think so. You may have different personalities who disagree on certain aspects, but remember the client, the defendant, it's his trial and his decision is ultimately who trumps everybody. And then you mentioned the team. Usually it's a team. Everybody has a certain role. There was a lawyer who did the opening. There's a lawyer who did the closing. Certain lawyers cross-examined certain witnesses. Certain lawyers presented certain arguments, whether it's pre-trial or post-trial. So everybody has a role to play, and they have to work together. And ultimately, Mr. Combs, as the coach, that makes the final call.
So Gina, Carly said Gina is full of shit. She went straight from the Tasha K interview to arguing with Young Miami on IG, saying she's still seeing him. I remember that. But y'all got to understand, these women love Diddy. Y'all don't want to admit it, but they love Diddy. And that's the reason why I'm not listening to none of these goddamn women talking, because I'm not listening to asses. Like, no, I'm listening to the evidence. And I wouldn't have had none of these goddamn women up there because they don't know what the hell they doing. So, yeah, I totally agree. But that's the reason why nobody needs to be listening to none of these damn women.
Got so many great questions coming in. This is for you, Barrett. This is from Becky Pell. Aside from England, asking from England, excuse me, do you think it was a mistake that the Diddy team didn't put up a defense? If so, is this a reason Diddy could use for appeal?
I don't think it was a mistake for them not to call witnesses. Again, like I said earlier, their defense was really more of a legal one. Again, they were not saying these people are lying about everything. I think they were saying, even if you assume what they're saying is true, it's not sex trafficking. It's not RICO. And they said as much in their opening, saying this is assault. This is domestic violence. It's a lifestyle, but it's not what the prosecutors have charged. So I think given that that was their whole tactic and their strategy, it would have been in some ways odd to call a lot of witnesses. I think it was a very smart decision not to put the defendant on the stand. I think that really only would have worked to their detriment. So I think that was actually a very smart decision.
And I want to say this. This is a lot of work, a lot of deliberating. It came out that hold on. Wait. I got a video. Where is the video of I just remember I got a video of a woman talking about. Hold on, I'm gonna play this. I got another video to show y'all. Yeah, I just remember. What the hell is video?
Sorry, to her second point, could they use this as part of an appeal? I mean, possibly, right? One of the things that defendants bring up on appeal in almost every single appeal of a criminal trial is ineffective assistance of counsel. So just to play that out, he would say, my counsel was ineffective in not putting up a defense. They should have called witnesses. I wanted them to, they didn't. I have to think, given everything that we've just talked about, it's not going to be a very strong argument on appeal, but of course, he will make that if he's convicted.
And it brings us to what his behavior was. I mean, because it seems like from the reporting that we have, he's constantly been nodding and constantly been in agreement with his attorneys and conversing with his attorneys and part of the defense. So it would be difficult for him to say, I didn't know what was going on with my legal defense. I asked for this. They did this. I mean, but you never know. Tell you what, we got Sierra Gillespie. We got Law and Crimes reporter. We got the host of Scandal with us right now. She's outside that federal courthouse. Sierra, hi, good to see you. How's everything going out there?
Hi, Jesse. That intro, I got to clip that and watch it on repeat when I need to pump myself up when I'm having a bad day. I loved it. We're getting court updates. There's smell of the verdict in the air. Could it be today, tomorrow, next week? Who's to say? It's really hot out, so we've got multiple fans, but I don't know. I'm just happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. We're happy to see you. You came all the way in for it. We got questions coming in for you, or at least questions that I think.
All right, so hold on. I got some, y'all. Let's see. Yes, I got it. I found it. I found it. I found it. This is interesting right here. Hold on, y'all. I just found some the thing that I was meaning to tell y'all. All right, so hold on. All right, so give me a second. I'm gonna let this play, but I got something to show y'all.
You would be great to answer. Okay, ready? Okay.
Yes.
This is a question from Christina Lester. It's a super chat question. So, Christina, thank you so much. I read that, and don't worry about this federal code. I'm not asking you to reads with federal law, but I read that deliberations. Does that mean that said notes may one day become public?
This is a really good question. And yes, to the point of our viewer, I believe I recognize that username. Some of ours are longtime watchers. So thanks for tuning in and sticking on with us. Yes, so they are allowed to take notes during all of this. However, I do believe that they are destroyed or they have to turn them back in at the end of deliberation. This is something that I've seen in other cases. And just to be completely straightforward, I'm more proficient in state cases. This is one of my first big federal cases that we've.
All right, so hold on, y'all. I'm gonna come back to that. And Carly, thank you so much. I see your comment. So hold on one second. I want to show y'all this right here. Because I think this is pertinent information right here.
Has been released. So let's take a look. There's 8 men, 4 women, ages ranging from 31 to 74. See number 5, who is elected as the foreperson, is a 31-year-old white male who works as an investment analyst. And right beneath him is juror number 25, who was supposedly causing some problems yesterday. He's a 50.
Hold on, y'all. We got to get these likes up. Everybody who just came in, thank you for watching. Can you please hit the thumbs up button if you could, please and thank you. Whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, make sure to hit the like button, please and thank you. Right now, can we get the likes up a little bit? Let's get the likes up. There you go. Facebook, y'all watching. Thank you to the people on Facebook and to the people on YouTube. Hit the like button. Hit the like. Everybody hit the like button. Keep hitting the like. Keep hitting the like button, y'all. Keep hitting the like button. There we go. Keep hitting the like button. Thank you.
51-year-old.
All right, let me back this up. This is important
information. A breakdown
information.
of the jurors in the Diddy trial has been released. So let's take a look. There's 8 men, 4 women, ages ranging from 31 to 74. See number 5, who is elected as the foreperson, is a 31-year-old white male who works as an investment analyst. And right beneath him is juror number 25, who was supposedly causing some problems yesterday. He's a 51-year-old white male who is a scientist and has a PhD in molecular biology. Jumping a few down, the alternate that replaced juror number 6 is a 57-year-old white male who's a mechanical engineer. Everyone on the jury seems to have a college degree, with the alternate having a master's and the juror that was causing trouble yesterday having a PhD. There are 7 white jurors, 3 black jurors, 1 Latina juror, and 1 Indian American juror. Jury deliberations are fully underway again today for day 2. And the jury just sent another note to the judge. So let me know, now that you know the breakdown of occupation, race, gender, age, education, does that influence your decision as to how you think the jury will sway?
What do y'all think? Juror number 5, who somewhat said he didn't want to cooperate, is this guy.
Jumping a few down, the alternate that 51-year-old white male who is a scientist and has problems yesterday. He's a 51-year-old white male who is a scientist and has a PhD in molecular biology.
somebody that has a PhD in molecular biology doesn't sound like somebody that is acting stupid, because of course yesterday we thought this note passing and one of the jurors is acting stupid or whatever. It doesn't sound like he's acting stupid. It's a possible. Okay, Carly said the juror 25 is a gay man. That might have something to do with it also. But you got a degree in molecular biology. I kind of would be okay with listening to that person, because I don't know, they just sound smart.
Works as an investment analyst. And right beneath him is juror number 25, who was supposedly causing some problems yesterday.
What do y'all think? This may mean, in my opinion, because I don't know, that juror 25 possibly is the smartest one there. And he's just like, whoa, 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 whoa. We're not just going to say guilty, 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 or either not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. We need to figure this out and deliberate. We're in here to deliberate, and y'all trying to go home. So that might be what may be going on. This man is like, no, we're going to do this the right way, and y'all just trying to go home. That might be an issue right there.
He's a 51-year-old white male who is a scientist and has a PhD in molecular biology. Jumping a few down, the alternate that replaced juror number 6 is a 57-year-old white male who's a mechanical engineer. Everyone on the jury seems to have a college degree, with the alternate having a master's and the juror that was causing trouble yesterday having a PhD.
And this was jury selection. So do y'all think the judge choosing all educated people, all people with PhDs, takes away from giving Diddy a fair trial? Because you are in a jury of your peers, right? These people are scientists, molecular biologists, and all this other shit. They're not common people. Because I would think a common person would just be a person that's a truck driver or a person that's a bus driver, just a common everyday person. So what do y'all think about, can it be a fair trial when all these overly super intellectual people are there? Because that adds precedence to one side. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Would you want a whole bunch of common everyday people on your on a 12-man jury for you, or would you want a bunch of super intellectual biologists, scientists people on the jury? Which one? The smart, let's just say the smart people or common people? Because I would want common people to be on my jury. They'll be able to relate with whatever it is I'm going through, because I don't think a scientist is getting any kind of pussy. I don't think scientists and molecular biologists are getting pussy. So looking at all these freak tapes and freak off and peeing on chicks and all this shit, they might be like, but in real life, we be peeing on chicks. Sorry, have y'all ever peed on somebody? I peed on a chick in a bathtub. Like, it's a normal thing. Y'all take a bath, y'all take a shower together, and you got to pee. You pee on her, like she'll let you pee on her. Like we're in the shower. So have y'all ever peed on somebody? Like, so like, yeah, it's okay to do some of this stuff. Threesomes and foursomes and like, yes, sleep with strippers. So okay. Molecular biologists don't know anything about freaky stuff. So this is possibly a bad thing for Diddy, because molecular biologists don't get no pussy. That's a fact. So spitting in chicks' mouths. Like we be doing all this stuff. You know, like y'all ladies, y'all like when a man spit in y'all mouth. But if you're a molecular biologist, you might be like, excuse me? Like we it's nasty stuff. You know? So I'm just saying, I would not want a bunch of molecular biologists to be in my jury pool. You really do that, bro? Do what? You ain't never spit. I mean, you ain't never spit in a girl's mouth? Okay, I would not want y'all to be on my jury pool. Well, I wouldn't go to jail because anything I do is legal. That's not normal. It is normal. What are you talking about? The funniest thing I ever heard, scientists are freaking too sorry to disappoint. Okay, so scientists, y'all be peeing on each other. Okay, gotcha. So Sammy said she's a scientist and she's okay with getting peed on. Okay, I just okay. I might be wrong. I'm okay. I'm wrong. All right. No, I don't. That's disgusting. Okay, y'all. Okay, I'm glad y'all are on my jury pool. Oh my God, no belly. Oh my God. Yeah, spit, pee, eating ass. Come on, y'all. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Okay, we gonna keep going because y'all are tripping. Y'all tripping. Hold on, somebody's getting their thing deleted. Let's see. Man, that's passionate sex. Facts. Exactly. Get shit on. Get shit on. No, I ain't saying about getting shitted on now. I did not say getting shitted on. Y'all a little extra. Y'all a little extra. Stick to the topic. This is the topic. What are you talking about? This is the topic. The topic is, would you be okay with 12 molecular scientists and biologists on, because y'all let me know, because I asked y'all, who would y'all want? The scientist has a partner. Yeah, but they're not doing anything. They're just having normal sex. Like, they're not even doing this. They're just, scientists. Okay, let me tell y'all something about scientists and molecular biologists. This is how scientists and molecular biologists they have sex. They just be like this. They're not gonna grab you by the hair. They're not gonna do. They're not gonna do all that. They're just gonna be like, oh, I like that, honey. Oh, honey, and that's it. And they're gonna go sleep or go back to their laptops or look up some more molecular biology stuff, whatever. So yeah, I'm just saying. Any and everything is acceptable in Atlanta. Wait, what? I guess you like to get pegged. What? No, I don't know. No. Just because I'm in Atlanta and a lot of these people be doing crazy shit, don't mean I be doing crazy shit. But yeah, like, no, I don't do the peg stuff. He's gay, so they know about that astral. Okay, so he's siding with Diddy. Okay, gotcha. Oh, Carly, hold on, Carly. Let me make Carly a moderator. Carly is dropping some good. Carly, say something in the chat so I can make you a moderator. Carly, if you're in here, just say something in the chat. I want to make you a moderator. Oh, I found you. Let's see. Add as moderator. Yeah, shout out to Carly. She dropping yeah, eating ass is good protein. All right, I got you. I just added you as a moderator, Carly. She done said something. All right, let's get back to the video. Let's get back to the video. Okay. Sharing my screen. Maybe something has happened thus far. All right, we don't want to see you. All right, here.
Wrinkle in my prediction could be this juror number 25. If you really have somebody who is a holdout, who's making things difficult for his or her other jurors, that could certainly take this thing longer than it otherwise would have been. But usually where there's a holiday weekend coming.
Hold on, y'all. I messed something up. I got to unshare the screen. Give me a second. Okay.
That's a
here we go.
pretty powerful incentive for the jury to wrap this up.
Barrett Berger, great seeing you. Thank you so much for.
Can y'all see my screen? It's still black on my side. Hold on, let me back up.
Personally, I think.
Put a 1 in the chat, y'all can see my screen. Put a 1 in the chat, y'all can see my screen. Put a 1 in the chat, y'all can see my screen.
Instagram post is relevant. We think it's confusing. The judge says, I think it can be included. Both sides have reviewed. Will proceed on this basis. And it looks like they have adjourned on that. Okay, go back to you, Tyler. Got a bunch of questions coming up. This is from Ethelyn Buckmeyer. Did the defense not call any witnesses because they're confident they'll win? Love you, Jesse. Love from the UK. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. So what do you think, Tyler? Did the defense not call any witnesses because they're confident that they'll win?
I don't think that was a reason for not calling any witnesses. I think it's more so strategic on this case, and their theme has been the government has overcharged and they have not met their burden of proof by proving each element beyond a reasonable doubt of the charge that Mr. Combs convicted of. They did spend significant effort in cross-examining the government's witnesses, and I believe they strategically felt that anybody they could call would not add to their case and may distract from the burden that the government has to prove to win their case.
Barrett, Rita Connors asks, if Sean Combs is convicted and sent to federal prison, will he always remain in protective custody, or will he be moved to general population? How does it work?
Good question. That's a good ass question.
Yeah, unless there's an issue that requires him to be in protective custody, I don't think that he would stay in protective custody his whole time. I mean, if you look at other celebrities that have been sentenced, ultimately they do make their way.
I don't think Diddy will want to be in protective custody. He gonna want to get out there and party.
Way into general.
My question would be, would they allow him to have baby oil and Astroglide? Like, could he ask for somebody to send Astroglide to the prison? That's a better question.
To general custody. So right now, you know, he's being held in sort of a pretrial facility. If he's convicted, he would ultimately be sentenced to, you know, a longer term actual prison. So he could be upstate New York, he could be in North Carolina. I mean, he could really be anywhere. He would likely make an argument that he wants to be sentenced and housed someplace close to family to make it easier to visit. But it's really, you know, up to not only the judge, but also to the Bureau of Prisons to figure out what's the most appropriate facility for him.
The transcripts are going to be sent to the jury by 1 p.m. This is per reporting from CNN. So again, the transcript excerpts regarding the Intercontinental Hotel incident, a big piece of evidence, a big event in this case. Safa, you want a question from Safa? So Safa.
All right, so we just got some information in. Let's see if I can read this properly. All right, so we just got some information. So we got, this may be breaking news, may not be. I don't know what it is. So give me a second. I put my glasses on. Hold on. I can't see. All right, so here we go. Okay, this is let's see what this is. Hold on, let me explain to you what this is first. Here is the actual statement from the judge's order from which the defendant appears to have pulled his misleading headline. All right. Okay. So, and everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button if you have not. All right. So here we go. All of that said, the situation would change and change dramatically if the investigator's declaration as the conversation with Jane Doe were admissible for the truth of what Jane Doe stated, for if what I don't know what the hell is happening, y'all. So I'm just reading this and then we'll be able to get an understanding. But I'm just reading what was just sent out. So I'll say it again. All of that said, the situation would change, having something to do with Jane Doe's testimony, and change dramatically if the investigators' declarations as the conversation with Jane Doe were admissible for the truth of what Doe stated. For if that were the case, then there would be some evidence that not only that Carter had nothing to do with any sexual assault on Doe, but what the fuck? Hold on. What does Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to understand what the hell this had to do with anything. Why did he put this in here? A declaration declaring that another allegedly declared is hearsay. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get an understanding of what the hell, because I'm confused. A declaration declaring that another allegedly what? Sometimes this stuff we don't even understand what the hell is happening. That pressure comply with therefore, but court. I don't even want to read it because I don't know what the hell they talking about. I don't want to confuse my audience. So I don't know. So I thought we had something because something did come in, but I don't know what the hell it means. Oh, he's dropping the wrong stuff in the wrong room. This is Diddy information, and they're dropping in information about Sean Carter versus Tony Busby. The judge said legislation needs to work on protecting claims of serious accusations and wrongly accused. Okay. So this is a Diddy. I mean, but this is called the Diddy docket. So I don't know why the hell they talk about Jay-Z. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. I'm in the right place, but he's dropping shit in the wrong place. So let me come out of here. All right, so let's see. Okay, Submaranian, Miss Comey, can we make sure? Hold on. Okay, Judge Submaranian, I am adopting the government's answer to the drug distribution question. Combs lawyer, can we just put something on the record about sole possession? The definition of distribution would mislead the jury. All right. So then, let's see. There's a lot of information coming out right now, so I don't want to confuse anybody. The fuck? Okay. Judge Submaranian, Miss Comey, can we make sure that things have been emailed that are on the docket? Better late than never. Okay. It's just a bunch of gibberish right now. All right, let's keep going.
Safa asks, on the jury sheet, it said count 3 transportation Cassie. Is transportation charge only for Cassie and not the dozens of escorts?
So if I can recall the verdict sheet, it does appear that the transportation portion is in connection with Cassie Ventura, and there's also a component that is specific to Jane. So it does not sound, at least reviewable based on the verdict sheet, that it's with regard to the escorts, although we have heard testimony of that as well, but specific to Cassie Ventura and Jane.
To be clear, though, the argument is, right, Sean Combs transported men. They don't even have to be sex workers. Transported men and Cassie, charged for count 3, and Jane for count 5, for the purposes of sex work. So they are a part of it.
Yes, they're definitely a part of it. And we've gotten a ton of testimony that essentially says that these individuals were hired by Mr. Combs or at someone's direction from Mr. Combs to travel to, for example, Turks and Caicos or to New York or to Miami to engage in sexual activity with Cassie Ventura. Or
what's up, Rodriguez? And what happened in the chat? What happened, Pammy Pam? You said, how dare you speak to Mr. Lego, or didn't speak to Mr. Lego. What happened? Okay.
Jane Doe as well, traveling across interstate lines, which of course would affect commerce. And so that essentially is the government's argument, that he participated in these things, that these sex workers were transported across interstate lines along with Ms. Ventura, and that she was sex trafficked, and essentially substantiating what the government alleges as the transportation to engage in prostitution and the sex trafficking charges.
Tyler, got a question from Old Hollywood Angels. What is a foreperson?
The jury foreperson is essentially the leader and spokesperson for the jury. They're the ones who will read when the court asks, do they have a verdict? The foreperson will be the one to stand up and read that they find Mr. Combs guilty or not guilty. They're in charge of really just taking leadership inside the jury deliberation rooms.
Over to you, Barrett. This is from Just My Opinion. Sorry. If Diddy's found guilty on the charges he's up against, can the judge still let him walk free with a fine?
No. If Diddy's convicted of all of the offenses that he's charged with, he'd be facing a mandatory minimum sentence. So the judge would have no wiggle room as far as the sentence goes on that.
So that's interesting. So if he's guilty on everything, there's a mandatory minimum. Okay. I wonder what the mandatory minimum would be on all of the charges.
If he was, let's just give a hypothetical, if he was only convicted of the 2 transportation charges, the Mann Act charges, that don't carry a mandatory minimum, is it possible that the judge could give him time served? Yes.
What do y'all think about that? That's interesting. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. That's interesting right there, y'all. So the 2 transportation charges is, the trafficking and all the other stuff, right? If he was guilty of that and that alone, they can give him time served. And let me say this. Remember I said that like 3 days ago? Remember, put a 1 in the chat if y'all remember me saying there's a high possibility that Diddy could get time served. Yes or no? Do y'all remember me saying that? Put a yes in the no or no in the chat. I literally said Diddy is going to get time served and a year in anger management and a year in drug rehabilitation center. Say yes or no in the chat. Do y'all remember me saying that a few days ago? I literally said that. I just want my flowers because y'all said I was crazy. But it all depends on what cases, what counts he is guilty for. Do y'all remember me saying that though? I'm just saying, give me my flowers.
Is it probable? Absolutely not. There's sentencing guidelines the judge has to follow. That would be an extraordinary departure from the guidelines. And I really can't see that being something that would happen in this case.
Safa, RD asks, if he's released, not guilty, how long does it take for him to be processed and released? Would it be the same day? Is it possible he could flee the country?
If he's acquitted, I expect that he would be released probably within a couple of hours. If he's acquitted, he can do whatever he wants. He can leave the country. He can stay
Thank
here.
you, Carly.
He can do whatever he wants. But in terms of when he's going to get turned out, if he's acquitted, probably a couple hours.
I'm going to throw this question to Tyler, and then I'm also going to ask Sierra about it. Tyler, Lisa 5472 asks, with the questions the jurors are asking, do you feel they're struggling to find guilt? Or did the questions show they're headed towards a guilty verdict?
I think the questions show that they're working through the verdict sheet. And if you look at the top, you have racketeering, and then you have the predicate underlying crimes that go along with it, and then you get to sex trafficking with Miss Ventura, and then
Yo, these some good ass questions, y'all. These some good ass questions.
Zane. So I think that they're working through the verdict sheet, and to me, it just leads me to believe that they're probably focusing on the charges as it relates to Miss Ventura and sex trafficking. And that's why they specifically asked for 3 separate slices of information to digest while they're working. My assumption, who knows?
Drop popcorn emojis in the chat, y'all. Drop popcorn emojis in the chat. Drop popcorn emojis in the chat.
I'll go to Sierra in a second. Before I do, I want Barrett. We had a super chat question that just came in from V8. V8, thank you so much. I think Diddy's activities check off the RICO boxes as it's written, even though this isn't the normal type of case tried under RICO. Guilty or not guilty, do you think the RICO law will be amended?
Oh, good ass question. Because that's what, like, RICO is meant for mafia bosses and shit. This is just some sex stuff. Would it all be the same?
No, I don't think the RICO law will be amended. And I agree. I think that the government has done a pretty methodical job of showing why this was a RICO enterprise. And I think they have more than 2 predicates that they have presented evidence for. The bigger question to me is, let's say he's acquitted, right? If he's acquitted on everything. Well, I don't think the RICO law will be amended. This really could be a pretty powerful message to the government that.
Wait, if he's acquitted, why would anything matter? Why would anything matter if he's acquitted? I'm confused on that.
Jurors don't like RICO in circumstances like that. That jurors think that this has been too big of an expansion of how the RICO laws are being used.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would not, well, I probably would because I don't like Diddy. But if I was a objective person I'm biased. I'm biased against Diddy. But if I was non-biased, I would not get this man on RICO.
So I think that it may be, if he's acquitted, perhaps it's something that future prosecutors take into account when they're trying to figure out whether RICO is an appropriate charge. But for me personally, I think that this conduct has satisfied the RICO elements. They've put evidence forth to that, and I think it was probably an appropriate charge.
We have a ton of super chat questions coming in. This is amazing. And this is from Man31994. Saf, I'll go to you, and thank you so much for this question. If Diddy is convicted on either the RICO or trafficking charges, what do you think his best grounds for appeal would be?
So let me answer this question. If y'all got a question, y'all can. I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. Why aren't the men escorts a part of this trafficking? You mean why aren't they getting charged? Because virtually everybody that testified, I'm not gonna say all of them, but they have a certain amount of immunity. You got to remember, the government does not want a prostitute. That's a state problem. That's a state charge. This is the federal government. You think they want to spend their federal resources on a goddamn prostitute? Ain't nobody thinking about that shit. And I want to say this. One day I'll be saying that he's going to get off time served, and then another day I say he's doing life. Yes, because every day that goes by, I'm learning more about this case, and I'm learning more about what these charges hold and what the actual charges are and how many counts are on each charge. So yes, somebody said that in the chat. Tomorrow, Mr. Lego said yes, I get it, because every day is more information coming out. So yes.
Also, do you think he would hire different appellate counsel? Great questions.
Well, I think that he already has an appellate attorney on his team, so he very well could keep that attorney, or he can decide to go get a whole new panel of attorneys if he chooses to do that. I think that his best argument, the likelihood, and to Baird's point earlier, is ineffective assistance of counsel, and we often see that in appeals, and with appeals you have to raise it or lose it. So I expect if he were to appeal, that would be one of the arguments, that his counsel, did not call certain witnesses, that they did not present a case, XYZ, a number of reasons as to why he should be granted.
And hold on, real quick. Carly says, well, on the street, the prostitute gets arrested and the John gets off. Well, you got to remember, none of that matters. This is a federal case. So federal agents don't care nothing about no pimp, no prostitute, no selling of no ass. This is, because one of the reasons why the federal government is a part of this is because they traveled from one state to another. When you transport anything that has some type of illegal consequence, whether it's a person for sex or either a drug or a firearm, and you take it across state lines, it is now a federal case. All right. So y'all are looking at the prostitution part. It's the transportation. That's why they keep saying transportation and not prostitution. It's a transportation issue, not a prostitution issue. When you carry something or someone across state lines, that now is a federal case, not a state case. So nobody cares about no prostitute.
An appeal, and the case should be, sent back. So it's just really going to depend. But he's got an appellate attorney on his team now. He could keep that attorney, or he could get a new one.
Got a super chat question. I'll throw this to you, Tyler. This is from Christina Lester. Christina, thank you so much. Is part of the purpose of thorough jury instructions to avoid any appeals based on the rule of lenity? I saw Brian Steele has successfully appealed several convictions on this basis, and my understanding.
Hold on. What is lenity? Let's see. All right, let's see. From a judge standpoint, okay, hold on. What is the legal What is the legal definition of lenity? Did he say lenity? I don't know what the hell that means. Hold on, back it up a little bit.
Give him time served? Yes. Is it probable?
Baird's point earlier is ineffective assistance of counsel, and we often see that in appeals, and with appeals you have to raise it or lose it. So I expect if he were to appeal, that would be one of the arguments, that his counsel, did not call certain witnesses, that they did not present a case, XYZ, a number of reasons as to why he should be granted an appeal, and the case should be, sent back. So it's just really going to depend. But he's got an appellate attorney on his team now. He could keep that attorney, or he could get a new one.
Got a super chat question. I'll throw this to you, Tyler. This is from Christina Lester. Christina, thank you so much. Is part of the purpose of thorough jury instructions to avoid any appeals based on the rule of lenity?
Lenity. Define lenity.
Kindness, gentleness.
Why are they using lenity? That means kindness. Okay.
I saw Brian Steele has successfully appealed several convictions on this basis. And my understanding is it's basically how you interpret a statute or interpret a law, if it's ambiguous or not.
I guess it's interpret or either show kindness to my client, I guess. So lenity in this context probably is about, can you show my client some type of kindness and, don't put him in prison, I guess.
You resolve it in a way that's most favorable to the defendant. Is that why it's so specific and so detailed when you're talking about racketeering and sex trafficking? What do you think, Tyler?
I think jury charges have to be very detailed and specific because you're asking the jury to consider all the evidence to make a ruling of guilty or not guilty based on the law. There shouldn't be assumptions of the law, what people think the law means or how they feel about the law. It's the black and white letter of the law as it's been negotiated generally between the prosecution and the defense and the judge.
Everybody who just came in, thank y'all for just coming in. I see y'all. I appreciate y'all for being here. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button. If you could, hit the thumbs up button if you have a thumb. If you don't have a thumb, shout out to the thumbless people. You can use your index finger, but for the people who have thumbs and the people who don't have thumbs, can you please hit the thumbs up button? And if you don't have a thumb, I don't mean to be, disrespectful by telling you to hit the thumbs up button when you don't have a thumb. So my apology to the thumbless people telling you to hit the thumbs up button because I know y'all wish y'all had a thumb, but hit the index finger button or just hit the like button or whatever fingers you have.
Judge ultimately incorporates particular changes or does not, and then gives the instructions to the jury. And you have to have thorough jury charges because you don't want the jury considering things that aren't.
Yes, you can use your foot, but just don't knock over your setup if you use your foot. But I would suggest you not use your foot. I would say use your nose to hit the thumbs up button instead of your foot because you could just put your nose against the phone. I don't know if you want to put a whole foot against your phone, but because you got to take your whole shoe off, but use your nose if you don't have a thumb to hit the thumbs up button. Please and thank you.
Accurate when they deliver their verdict.
Barrett, I know we have to sign you off in a minute. Before we do, before we went on live, you said you have a prediction.
Yo, what is wrong with y'all?
When we might get a verdict. If you'd like to.
No, do not use your tongue. Your phone is nasty. You just took a shit and you had your phone in your hand. So there are feces on your phone. You know you took a shit and you still had your phone in your hand. So please do not hit the like button with your tongue because your phone has feces on it. Okay. I want to keep y'all healthy. So do not hit the like button with your tongue. This is coming from someone who eats ass. Okay. I know you cannot just be sicking your tongue on certain things. And for those who don't know, a woman's ass, yes, is cleaner than your phone. So I would put my tongue on a woman's ass, her booty hole, but I would not put my tongue on my own phone because a woman's ass, she's fresh out of the shower. When did you give your phone a shower? Never. So I just want to say that. So a woman's ass is cleaner than a woman's phone.
Share with the class. When do you think we might get a verdict in this case?
So I think we're going to get a verdict tomorrow. I think this jury has been here for a very long time now. I think they're probably pretty sick of each other. So in a normal case, if everything was proceeding according to plan, I think if they, had gone through the verdict sheet, it does seem like from their questions, they're kind of working their way down. I would expect a verdict tomorrow. The one wrinkle in my prediction could be this juror number 25. If you really have somebody who is a holdout, who's making things difficult for his or her other jurors, that could certainly take this.
He's an astronaut. I think the jurors are making it difficult for him. I think he's trying to do things meticulously because he's a goddamn astronaut or some shit. Like, I can't imagine an astronaut making things difficult for other jurors.
Thing longer than it otherwise would have been. But usually where there's a holiday weekend coming up, that's a pretty powerful incentive for the jury to wrap this up.
Barrett Berger, great seeing you. Thank you so much for taking the time. Safa and Tyler are going to stick with me.
Wait. Hold on. I need to say something real quick. The real Hube, are you jealous of me peeing on chicks? Like, is this jealousy? I'm just saying, I sense hostility from the real Hugh. Are you jealous that you don't get the pee on folks and I do? Is this a jealousy? Is this a jealousy that I'm able to eat ass or whenever I want to, but you can't? Is this what's happening here? Are you jealous, the real Hugh? Is this what we're doing? Do you want to eat ass and you mad that there's no ass to eat for you? I'm just saying. I just sense hostility. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like, what do we do? Is there hostility because you jealous of me being able to pee on chicks and eat their asses? Yes, I'm very, very jealous, sir. I dream of living very vicariously. Okay. Okay, there you go. So you're eating ass through me. That don't sound right, but okay. Pause. Got it. Okay. I just want to make sure it ain't no beef. What do y'all get out of peeing on a woman and with your wife and okay, would you wipe the one you pee on? Okay. If we're like I don't like get off on peeing on her, but if I gotta pee and we in the shower together and she wants me to pee on her, I'm gonna pee on her. Like we're in the shower. I'm not peeing on her in the bedroom. I'm not gonna get pee on my bed. But what's wrong with pee when you're in the shower? Excuse me. It's water. It's the water, like the pee is coming off of you the second the pee goes on you. What is the problem? Like, I don't understand. And this is the reason why, like, okay, I think y'all are jealous because y'all want to get peed on and y'all ain't got nobody to pee on y'all. Y'all want me to pee on y'all? Is that's what's happening? Is that what's going on? Like, because what I can actually do, if y'all would like it, okay. I have, this is how I ship out my card games, right? I can actually come up with a container. This is what I'll do for y'all. There's containers. I think I got some. I go to Walmart today and get some containers and I'll pee in the containers. And for the ladies that want to get peed on by me, like I'll send it out for free. I'll send y'all my pee in a container and then y'all can just, because I think y'all jealous or either y'all want me to pee on y'all or what? Is that what y'all need? I came from the I'm just saying, what? Bruh, do you piss in a public swimming pool too? No. It's in the shower. You funny. You should change your name to Mr. Golden Shower. So I'm just saying, for all of the people who are vehemently getting mad at me peeing on women, I'll send y'all I'll start selling pee. Y'all want me to do that? Like, I'll do it for a low price. I'll do that. Like, let me go to Walmart, get some containers, and I'll prop the container up here with my card games. And if you buy a card game, you'll get a free ounce of my piss. And I'm just trying to be here for my audience. I'm just saying, because y'all just sound so angry that I'm peeing on somebody else. I'm just saying.
Sierra's going to stick with me, but guess what? We're going to take a break. You know who's coming on? Elizabeth Milner, if any, regarding interactions, freak-offs with Daniel Phillip, and Phillip's testimony regarding the Essex Hotel incident with Ventura. What jumped out to you about that? What do you think the jurors are trying to get a little bit more information about?
Well, it's interesting, Jesse, because I think if you think about the first question, it kind of had to do with RICO conspiracy, and now they're asking kind of things that pertain to sex trafficking. And I think in part two, what to count two that's been alleged in the indictment. And so I think there are specific questions about Cassie in the Intercontinental Hotel, Cassie at Con or Can. I know, I always mispronounce it, and then the events that immediately followed afterwards, and plus Cassie's testimony in regards to the interaction with Daniel Phillip at a freak off at her apartment.
Quick question. What the hell is Red Wings? Y'all keep saying Red Wings. What is Red Wings? That has something to do with peeing on somebody or something? Can y'all please explain in the chat what Red Wings mean? Because y'all keep saying it in the chat.
Plus the Essex Hotel incident with Cassie and Daniel Phillip. I think their questions are very specific. And it's interesting too, Jesse, because I was sitting by one of the reporters inside, and I was going back through my notes, even from just closing arguments, and the prosecution pointed out these specific instances in their closing argument. The Intercontinental Hotel that had happened in March 5th of 2016. They showed an exhibit photo of Cassie at the Cannes Film Festival. And then they even specifically talked about a particular freak off where Sean Combs had punched Cassie and then kind of forced her to do a freak off even after being physically violent with her. And so I'm wondering, a lot of people are talking about testimony and how far back it goes, but it seems like the jury really kind of took heed to the closing argument. And I think what's also interesting too, Jesse, is the whole Instagram post that's also going to go back to the jury too, something that's still on Cassie Ventura's Instagram page even to this day, just in regards to the outpouring of support that she had gotten after the Intercontinental Hotel surveillance video was released by CNN just last year, where she said in part, "Thank you, outpouring of love has created a place for my younger self to settle and feel safe now." But this is this is only the beginning. Domestic violence is the issue.
Okay, hold on. Let me move. I don't care about that. Care about that. Let's get back to this.
Transcript, I believe, and why the judge just
goes up on appeal to the Second Circuit, and ultimately wherever it may land after that.
Got a super chat question. Oh, we have Sierra Gillespie with us. Sierra, hi. Good to see you. You're back. Okay. So, Sierra, let's jump into the conversation. I want you to feel a part of this. And by the way, I'm sorry they didn't want you to be president or vice president, but I think that you are a part of this. And I think you are a part of this administration. Whatever role you want.
I want to be in the cabinet.
You want to be in the cabinet? Secretary of State. How about that? Secretary of Defense while we're at it. All right. We got a question.
Why not?
From Charles Menifee. Thank you so much, Charles. Did you cover the RICO? Did you cover the R. Kelly case? Because I get all the time. How does this case differ from R. Kelly's case?
I did cover R. Kelly, actually, Jesse. If we wind the clock back 3 years ago, this very week is the first time I met Jesse Weber in person. I have it on my calendar. I got to mark it because it was because I was here in Manhattan. Actually, I was in Brooklyn, excuse me. It was in Brooklyn for the sentencing of R. Kelly. So I was there and I did cover it a bit. And I do remember when P. Diddy, even before he got indicted, when we first had these civil allegations, a lot of people were comparing the two. And I think they are similar in a way. They're different between the two. How are we here? I mean, we heard Barrett in the last hour talking about, why it makes sense, the RICO charges here. And I tend to agree with her that it makes sense the reason that he's facing these charges.
When you look at the R. Kelly case, when you look at what happened with Tory Lanez, and when you look at the young man, Kalen Walker, they all are doing 10 years to life. So to imagine Diddy getting off easy, according to all of the new information, is looking worse and worse and worse for Diddy.
But I mean, I don't want to say R. Kelly walked so that P. Diddy could run in terms of the prosecution side of.
Oh, wait, R. Kelly walked? What does that mean, R. Kelly walked? Is R. Kelly out of prison? What? Hold on. Is R. Kelly out of prison? No. Okay. R. Kelly is in. What's up, Steven? Okay. Why does she say R. Kelly walked so Diddy can run?
Things. I'm not going to say that at all, even though I technically just did. I mean, there are, especially from our other guests here on Law and Crime, that sometimes when there is some sort of celebrity who's the defendant, perhaps maybe the judge is a little harder, doesn't want to show any preferential treatment here. And so perhaps maybe the judge would kind of keep that in the back of his mind. Like, thank you, P. Diddy, for saying that I'm doing a great job. Okay, back at you. And then move on. I don't know that it's grounds for an appeal. I don't know that it's necessarily going to be mentioned at an appeal, but maybe just something that Judge Arun Subramanian would keep in the back of his mind.
Yeah. So the second question was, why was the judge? Oh no, that was that one. Where was it? I lost it already. It was the one. Where was it? I lost it already.
Oh, I'm remembering now.
Oh, check yeah. Why was the judge? Knew that it was about the drug distribution. So why was the judge not able to answer the note from jurors?
I'm good. I'm having a good day. Starting my day a little later because I was supposed to get on this Diddy watch stuff earlier, but did nothing happen, so I didn't miss nothing.
About distribution being defined as the handing over of drugs with a simple yes response. Yeah, and then that was the one.
Okay. Well, there was one more about the transcript, I believe, and why the judge just didn't tell them to refer to the notes or the materials.
You're right. I'm trying to find that. What was that one? I saw it too. Yeah, it was basically. Here we go. No, that wasn't the one. We already answered that one. I'm lost. We got some.
I think that this is a fantastic question. It's one that we've talked about.
I'm lost. We got so many is a pimp. I'm lost. We got so many questions coming in. It's hard for me to make sense of it. I'll tell you what, we'll come back to that one. Let me go to Saf on this one. We got a question from Black Sigma. Super chat question. Thank you so much. When you say Diddy is charged with sex trafficking, are you saying that Cassie and Jane Doe are prostitutes and Diddy is a pimp?
Yes.
Yes and no. I mean, if you want to view it that way, sure. But the reality is the facts of this case have been laid out that he has engaged in sex trafficking with these particular women who are not prostitutes by any means, but it could apply in that sort of scenario. But in this particular case, the argument from the government has been that by the use of threats, fraud, or coercion, he has trafficked these women and caused them to engage in sexual activity through threats, through force, and through coercion. So the fact that they are not truly a pimp and a prostitute doesn't really matter, although it could apply in those circumstances as well.
Got a super chat comment from Sophisticated. Thank you so much. Absolutely sensational watching from Abu Dhabi with my friends. Oh my gosh. Can't believe how this case is unfolding. It's like something out of a movie. At times it really is a movie. What kind of movie is a question? Is it a horror movie or what? Got the super chat question from Angie. Let me throw this to you, Tyler. Hi, are you able to estimate where they are in deliberations? For example, do you think the jury has concluded on RICO and are now on the trafficking charges?
Yeah, I think that the jury is now on the trafficking questions or charges, and that's based off of the questions that they presented to the court earlier concerning Ms. Ventura and those three pieces of information that they're seeking. It seems to me that they moved on from that, and now they're trying to figure out if Mr. Combs is guilty of sex trafficking in regards to victim Ms. Ventura. And that's why those three questions were concerning different incidents with her.
Sierra, let me go to you. Jackie Reed asks, will the jury be confused on racketeering without anyone else being charged along with Diddy? That was something, right? That's something that came up by Mark Agnifilo in defense's closing argument. Where are his co-conspirators? KK's not a co-conspirator. The alleged victims are asking her for help. She's really an alleged co-conspirator. You think that's going to be a factor?
Good question.
I think that this is a fantastic question. It's one that we've talked about actually on my show Scandal, which if you are interested in P. Diddy or any sort of celebrity, make sure to subscribe because we talk about things like this, celebrity crime and gossip and drama. So subscribe to that. Back to your question, Jesse, talking about their confusion. I mean, potentially, yeah, right? When these jurors came into all of this, who's to say if they've ever heard of RICO or racketeering, potentially may not have even ever heard of it. However, if they had, I'm going to guess that they heard something in relation to mobsters. And usually when it happens like that, when it's the mob or the mafia, there's multiple conspirators. And so, yes, I do think it's possible that these jurors are confused in this, especially if they're listening to the defense's closing arguments. As you pointed out, Mark Agnifilo really acting Mark the Shark in that way, saying, okay, what is this? This isn't even RICO. We got one guy, it's P. Diddy, Sean Combs. We're the other alleged co-conspirators. Again, we've talked about this time and time again. Where was KK? Why wasn't she called for the government or even the defense for that matter? So is it possible that they're confused? Yes. Absolutely. And I think that's why we have jury deliberations, for some of them to say, okay, here's what I thought about that. Here's what I thought. And then they can confer and discuss and kind of point to closings and all the rest of the arguments that they heard. I do think it could be confusing, but I don't know that it would deter them ultimately from a conviction.
And we're going to wait and see. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be signing off. I got like a million sidebars I'm doing today, but you're in great hands. You're with Sierra, okay, host of Scandal. Tyler's going to stick around. Safa's going to stick around. We're going to get to more of your questions as we are currently in verdict watch in the Sean Diddy Combs criminal trial.
Hold on. Wait, what? We got wait. Hold on. We are under flash flood watch. Mr. Let Go must be peeing in cups. Oh man, I thought you was talking about a real thing. Y'all go on somewhere. All right, so hold on. Let's see what's going on. All right, looks like nothing is happening, y'all. Nothing is going on. So yet another day of nothing happening. New information, but nothing in particular happening as of today. So I want to play this for the people who just came in because this is very important right here. So check this out. Oh, Red Wings is eating. No, I'm not doing that. Y'all are disgusting. Period. That's disgusting.
More questions in Diddy's trial, and it is getting worse and worse. So now they are asking for the transcripts from Cassie and for Daniel Phillips. Now this is very big, so let me break this down. So they specifically are asking about the Canes incident when it comes to Cassie. Now this is when she was allegedly forced to do the freak off after Diddy threatened to release the videotapes of her. Daniel Phillips is the Gretz worker who heard Diddy slap Cassie in the other room when they were about to do a freak off, and then she had to come out there after being attacked and do the freak off anyway. They also asked about the Intercontinental Hotel incident. So it looks like they are working on the Gretz trafficking charges with Cassie, as well as the bribery charge from the Intercontinental Hotel. And for the Daniel Phillips guy to say that he heard Diddy slap Cassie and then she came out and did that freak off after she did not want to do it could be very damaging.
Diddy trial day 34. So the defense and prosecution are going back and forth over which experts they want to leave in, and I just posted the transcript. So the defense is like, we should absolutely be able to put in Cassie's response to the video when asked, saying that she thought that this issue was about domestic violence. So obviously the prosecution doesn't want that because the DV isn't a factor in this case. However, the judge has ruled that he sees no harm in including that statement from Cassie that this is a DV case based off of the video that was released in March of 2024. Now, while all this is happening, the jury is still deliberating. The judge instructed them to hand over those experts by 1 p.m. today. It is 12:40 right now, so we'll see where this goes. Now, if you guys remember, Daniel Phillips was the escort that was one of the first ones to testify, and he testified that he received from, I think it was $400 to $6,000 to have relations with Cassie. He is the one that testified about the peeing, and he is the one that testified about hearing the DV acts against Cassie from the other room.
And then we got this.
The Diddy trial has been released. So let's take a look. There's a breakdown of the jurors in the Diddy trial has been released. So let's take a look. There's 8 men, 4 women, ages ranging from 31 to 74. See number 5, who is elected as the foreperson, is a 31-year-old white male who works as an investment analyst. And right beneath him is juror number 25, who was supposedly causing some problems yesterday. He's a 51-year-old white male who is a scientist and has a PhD in molecular biology. Jumping a few down, the alternate that replaced juror number 6 is a 57-year-old white male who's a mechanical engineer. Everyone on the jury seems to have a college degree, with the alternate having a master's and
Hey, Esther.
the juror that was causing trouble yesterday having a PhD. There are 7 white jurors, 3 black jurors, 1 Latina juror, and 1 Indian American juror. Jury deliberations are fully underway again today for day 2. And the jury just sent another note to the judge. So let me know, now that you know the breakdown of occupation, race, gender, age, education, does that influence your decision as to how you think the jury will sway?
Like a hawk.
They asked if a person asked.
It is Tuesday, and here's what's happening in the Diddy trial today. So far, jurors are back to deliberating after having sent the judge 2 notes yesterday. So I told you guys yesterday, 1 note was regarding a juror that could not follow the judge's instructions. He sent a note back saying it's your obligation to follow his instructions on the law. Towards the end of the day yesterday, they sent another note to the judge asking a question about distribution of controlled substances. And the judge said he would answer that this morning. In the judge's response, he refers them to page 37, lines 1 through 3 of jury charge. The word distribution means actual, constructive, or attempted transfer. To distribute simply means to deliver, to pass over, or to hand over something to another person, or to cause it to be delivered, passed on, handed over to another. Distribution does not require sale. And they specifically asked, if someone asks for an illegal substance and someone hands it over to them, is that considered distribution? And as I just read, I would say yes. And this is one of the acts that falls under the RICO charge. Y'all know I'm watching this case like a hawk.
They asked if a person
What's up, Wendy?
asks for an illegal substance and then a person hands it over to them, is that counted as distribution? Now, the judge said that he's going to give them the answer to this question tomorrow, and he told Diddy's lawyers and the prosecution to come up with the proper wording for the answer to this question.
To me is that they asked if someone wants drugs and someone else gives it to them, is that distribution? And remember, throughout this trial, the defense has been saying that
This is telling you that most likely he's going to prison for distribution. But this was crazy. There has only been 0.7 grams of whatever it was of pills. So if he is guilty of distribution of these pills and it was only 0.7 grams, guess what? That's a misdemeanor. So that's a misdemeanor. So this drug thing doesn't really matter unless I'm missing something.
Cassie was a drug addict, that she did drugs with or without Diddy. So given that drugs, the prosecution is saying, was an essential ingredient to every freak-off, I'm wondering if they're questioning, well, if Cassie wanted the drugs, is it still distribution? Talking to my colleagues about this, and everyone is split. Some are saying that the question indicates that they are leaning towards convicting him on RICO, and some say they are finding murky gray areas when it comes to how simple that the assistant U.S. attorney explained drug distribution. I also wonder what it means that they all agreed to go home at 5. I mean, it could simply mean that they wanted to wrap it up. But also on the other side of these deliberations is a 4-day weekend. And it seems unlikely that they would want to come back next week to pick up where they left off. My best guess is that we will have a verdict on Wednesday. Now, until then, we will all be in the courtroom just sitting and waiting. So I brought this book tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow.
His defence claim that it was all consensual and that he shouldn't be judged based on his sexual preferences. Diddy is facing 5 charges, including racketeering, conspiracy and sex trafficking. If found guilty, he could face
conspiracy and sex trafficking. He has pleaded not guilty. Now, within an hour of the start of the jury deliberation, you've got 8 men and 4 women that are entering day 2 of deliberations, and they have a big job. They have to look at over 30 witnesses that have testified throughout this trial, and recall all of that evidence for a trial that has spanned nearly 2 months long. As you know, 55-year-old Sean Combs faces numerous charges, including racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. He has pleaded not guilty. Now, within an hour of the start of the jury deliberations, as you mentioned, the foreperson presented a note to the court regarding concerns about one juror's ability to follow instructions. In response to that note, the judge sent them back to work and did
Oh, thank you, Wendy. I appreciate that.
not call any alternate. A second note was sent late in the day with the jury looking for clarification about what makes a person a drug distributor. The judge plans to address that later this morning. Now, inside the courtroom yesterday, Combs was at times yawning as the judge spoke to the jury. He also requested 2 books that he wanted to read while he waits: The Power of Positive Thinking and The Happiness Advantage. Prosecutors have argued that Combs was the leader of a criminal enterprise that forced women into engaging in illegal sex acts with male escorts. They also claim he supplied the women with drugs and threatened them with violence and blackmail to keep them silent. But the defense said this case is really about personal drug use, they say, and Combs's private sex life, adding all sexual encounters were consensual, and Combs faces up to life in prison if convicted on the racketeering conspiracy.
The racketeering conspiracy is the worst charge. The bribery charge isn't bad. The drug charge isn't bad. It's the conspiracy charge. And I actually may be going back to my original argument that he may get time served. Probably not time served, but 2 to 5 years plus time served, because these charges aren't really that bad. Hold on, let me look at the charges again. Kidnapping, no. Arson, well, kidnapping and arson is part of the racketeering part, right? The forced labor is an issue. So let's see. If Diddy is guilty of forced labor, how much time would he get for that one charge if he was convicted? If convicted of forced labor under 18 USC 1589, Diddy could face up to 20 years. So he's guilty of forced labor. I was wrong. Diddy is 100% guilty of forced labor, because the young lady said they one have the transcripts, so they have it fresh in their mind and it's on paper that Diddy was slapping on her before she was about to, because she didn't want to do a freak off. So if convicted of forced labor under whatever statute, Diddy could face up to 20 years in prison and a fine of $250,000. However, if the circumstances are aggravated forced labor, the maximum sentence would be significantly increased. Here's a more detailed breakdown of this charge. A federal crime. Forced labor is a federal crime. So don't force anybody to do no labor. Wait. I forced my ex-wife in labor when she had my daughter because we were having sex. Is that forced labor? If your lady is pregnant and y'all start having sex and you force the labor, is that forced labor? Well, the statute of limitations runs out. The statute of limitations runs out, so I can't go to prison for forced labor because that was decades ago. So I'm good. Never mind. I could have been convicted of forced labor, but no. All right. So statutory minimum. Statutory maximum. The law sets the maximum. We talked about that already. Aggravated circumstances. Certain factors, if present, can lead to a longer prison sentence. These factors are not specifically defined. So why are you putting this on here if you're not going to define the damn shit? Other charges. It's important to note that Diddy is also facing other serious charges. Denial. Diddy has pleaded not guilty. Let's see. Because I want to see what all of these charges are going to. Let's see. Sex trafficking, witness tampering. All right, what about witness tampering? If Diddy is convicted of witness tampering, what is his conviction amount in time? I have said it wrong. In the context of the federal case against Diddy, witness tampering is a part of the charges he faces. Prosecutors have accused him of engaging in witness tampering and obstruction after the lawsuit was filed. If convicted of witness tampering, there is no set conviction time. Threat of physical force, imprisonment, not more than 20 years. Okay. Is Diddy RICO charge? Okay, let's just say. Explain Diddy's RICO charge. Let's see. How is RICO applied to the Combs case? Prosecutors allege that Combs' business empire, that is the part of the RICO, functioned as a criminal enterprise. They claim that he used his enterprise to facilitate and conceal a pattern of criminal activity. And this is kind of like what is said right here.
He was grooming us. It's kind of like you're signing boy band groups and girls.
So this is the criminal enterprise part. This is the criminal enterprise part right here. Listen to this.
This meeting in order to humiliate me.
He was grooming us. It's kind of like you're signing boy band groups and girl band groups because you like one or two of them and you want to see who's gonna go. It's nothing to you but a tax write-off, but you're really searching for a butt the whole time. So he was looking for my butt, Chopper butt, everybody butt. He was just signing a lot of boys. Usher, it was something he figured out that R. Kelly figured out is we can get them away from the parents. If we could get them alone, isolated, then we can get them.
I know. So yeah, if he gets hit with a RICO, it's over. If he gets hit with the drug possession, time served. He gets hit with a bribery, time served. So yeah. So I guess we'll reconvene tomorrow or either this evening and see what happens. I'll be up early tomorrow morning because everybody is thinking it's going to happen tomorrow. So I am about to grab me something to eat. It's 3:00. Drop broccoli in the chat because y'all already know I'm about to eat some salmon and broccoli, and I am out. Drop salmon and broccoli in the chat. Drop salmon and broccoli in the chat. Drop salmon and broccoli in the chat. But buy my card game before y'all leave, y'all.
Healing is sweeping the country, and it's a card game called.
Hold on, y'all. Breaking news. Breaking news. Y'all check out this breaking news. Y'all ready for this breaking news? Breaking news. Y'all, everybody watch this. Breaking news. This is breaking news, y'all. Check this out.
This just in, a new way of healing is sweeping the country, and it's a card game called Like Mother, Like Daughter. This game is
Oh shit! This is breaking news, y'all.
Powerful. My favorite question was, if you could parent me all over again, what would you change? This card game has a mother deck and a daughter deck, so we both have questions for each other.
These are some good questions. Do you think I'm a people pleaser? If so, where did I get this trait from? This card game actually helped my marriage, and the questions showed me that I still had unresolved issues with my mom, and I was taking them out on my husband.
If you don't do anything else,
Buy this card game. You won't regret it. Click the link below.
Like mother, like daughter, we are the same. You'll see when we play this game.
Hold on, I'm about to play y'all favorite song before y'all go. Let me see if I can find it. I ain't played it in a minute. What the hell is the song? Don't tell me how to erase the song. Hold on, y'all. I'm looking for y'all's favorite song because y'all ain't heard it in a while. Here it is. All right, here we go. I'm about to play y'all favorite song. Y'all remember this?
Mama, sit down, let's play this game. In these cards we heal our pain. Face to face we both explain. Maybe find our bond again. Years of anger lose their sting. We both said some hurtful things. Let these questions heal broken strings. Let this game and fractured wings. Like mother, like daughter, we are the same. You'll see when we play this game. My inner child just wants to be seen. I forgive you, do you forgive me? The hurt, the neglect and disrespect, wounds can be healed in these two decks. Even though our past attempts have stalled, Mama, please just don't withdraw. Like mother, like daughter, we are the same. You'll see when we play this game. My inner child just wants
Play your card game, ladies.
I forgive you, do you forgive me? The hurt, the neglect and disrespect, wounds can be healed in these two decks. Even though our past attempts have stalled, Mama, please just don't withdraw. Like mother, like daughter, we are the same. You'll see when we play this game. My